Hi, I'm Jim Schroyer, host of That's My Farm. And you know, if you've ever wondered how to grow wheat in southwest Kansas in a drought, we're going to find out here in a minute. We're on the Gary Miller-Shasky farm, and we're going to be talking to Gary in just a moment about wheat production in southwest Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning. I'm Jim Schroyer, and we're in luck, folks, because one, we're in southwestern Kansas. Two, we're in Kearney County.
Yep.
And three, we're on the Miller-Shasky farm just north of Lakin. And today we have Gary Miller-Shasky with us talking about the farming, his family farming operation. So Gary, glad you're here.
Yep.
So
Good
tell
morning,
us a little bit about your whole operation here.
Well, I tell you what, actually my father-in-law started this. He was born in 1930, and he's still farming. But predominantly we have, I call it just the right size wheat, fallow wheat on portion of it, and then another portion of it is a wheat row crop fallow. And we survive on about 18 inches of moisture if we have an average year, sometimes less, sometimes more.
You're not getting at that this year.
No. Like I was mentioning earlier, we planted our wheat late September, and from the 1st of October till now, we've only had 1.8 inches of moisture, and it's dry. But that's what makes it a challenge. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But no, we like to plant our wheat in the fall, in September, and depending on the submoisture, depends how much or how thick of a seeding rate I go out with.
So your range in seeding rates would be what?
Anywhere from, like this year, 38 to 72 pounds.
Okay, right. So do you use a little bit lower seeding rate earlier in the season and then go higher as the season goes along?
Most generally, if I've got an area that I'm concerned on moisture, if I have adequate top moisture, I will then assess how much submoisture I've got and set my seeding rate. The goal is out here, you want to get a stand.
Exactly.
Now, if you plant it early, it will tiller more, so yeah, you cut back just a little bit. And then, like I say, it's like throwing the dice, and then you let Mother Nature guide
Okay,
you.
so what about your fertility program? Nitrogen, phosphorus, what have you? How do you do that?
I will do soil tests every third year on a piece of ground, and they don't change a lot, but you got to know, like we've had drought lately, so I haven't been doing the nutrient withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that being said, I've got more free nitrogen out here in my soil bank than what I've had previously.
Build up to do the drought, the previous crop not taking nutrients off, right?
I'll put a dry fertilizer with my seed when I'm planting, and then I even like to throw in a little bit of extra nutrients for my following row crop, like the zinc that doesn't move much. And that way that helps build it up to where it's there when I get the moisture, it can take advantage of it and go.
So you'll have a little bit of a starter. You put a little starter on, a little phosphorus.
Yep.
And then what's your range in nitrogen?
It
depends on soil test.
Right, and then too, mine, it goes directly with the seed, so I got to watch how much salt I get.
Right.
And typically, I'll put down about, at planting time, I'll do 8 to 10 pounds of nitrogen, 30 pounds of phosphorus would be max, and then generally I've been doing about 25 pounds of phos, and then, like say, a pound of zinc.
Okay. Well, Gary, we got to take a break, so. Hang on, I got more questions for you.
Okay.
So we'll be right back with That's My Farm.
Thanks.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back, folks. We're with Gary Miller-Shasky in Kearney County in southwest Kansas, and we're going to finish up talking about the nitrogen. So Gary, let's continue that talk about nitrogen, yield gold, and that sort of thing.
Okay, well, like I said before, with this drought, we've got more leftover nitrogen in the soil than what we typically have, and so I take this soil test and go from there. If I've got a good profile and a lot of moisture, I've got at least 40 pounds of nitrogen at the first of the year. If I get winter moisture and the stand looks good, then I'll go ahead and I'll get out my sprayer and we'll top dress and add another 15, 20, 30 pounds to give us up to that super yield if there's the potential.
So you're starting off with 40, what's in the profile and
what
a
I've
starter
added. Yes.
added, okay.
And that's a nitrogen is what we're basing this
Right,
off,
right.
because that's the predominant one. Like I say, it's just a guess what we hope we can do or what we think is potential out there, and we go that way. And then a lot of it bases too on varieties, because some varieties they're a little bit more, I call it high maintenance,
Sure.
but they're also a racehorse that if you put the fertilizer out there, they will yield more. And some of them are your good old workhorse that, they're satisfied with what they got and they'll do the best they can.
Okay, so you're shooting for basically somewhere in that total in of about a 1 3/4 to no more than 2 pounds per bushel. That's
Right.
total in that's in the profile starting off, and what you've added
Right.
as fertilizer.
Yeah. I'm not a big spender on nitrogen. I just don't put it out there hoping for a high yield because the economics aren't
So
there.
you're just kind of watch through the season. If you got moisture,
Yeah.
you put it on. If you don't,
I-
so let's talk about varieties. What varieties?
Well, not by any order of importance, but I've got TAM 112, I've got T158,
Yeah.
I've got
Those are both good dryland wheats
right,
for this area.
very drought tolerant. I also plant a Colorado variety, Bill Brown.
Bill Brown.
And then I've still got some of the old standby Jagger.
Jagger's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
We're at 18 years now, almost 20
Yeah.
years that Jagger's been
Well,
around.
and I gotta add it also. I've also got some Danby. Gotta have
Okay,
some
white wheat. That's
And-
you know. I don't want to talk too much here, but Danby, if it had been a red wheat, all western Kansas would have been Danby, and it is one of the toughest dryland wheat varieties out there.
It's probably the best looking one I've got right now.
It's a good wheat.
But the thing I like about having the different varieties is I've got a few different fields, and they will mature at different times. So that gives me, if I start cutting on the early varieties, and then the other ones aren't ripe till I get there, or at least it makes it an easier workload.
So when you're selecting a variety, obviously we go for yield. But what else are you mentioned? You mentioned maturity dates.
Right.
So what else are you looking at?
Well, and then too, depends on how the neighbors control their volunteer wheat. You got to look at the disease package to what goes where.
Right.
And then too, the more you farm your ground, you realize some varieties work better on a lighter soil, some work better on the heavier soil.
Exactly. That's absolutely right. So what about planting depth?
That's why you had this knuckle put on your finger. You got to pay attention to the coleoptile of the plant, but I like a good 1.25 1.5 inch. I'm comfortable with.
One thing I see is across the state is in no-till, planting depth. Going through all that residue, a lot of times we're running into some problems. People are thinking they're planting at an inch or inch and a half deep, and then when I go out and dig, or they go out and dig,
it's only 3/4 or half
or
inch.
less, and
Yeah.
that seed and that crown are set right there at that soil surface, and we set ourselves up for winter kill and that.
Oh
sort of
yeah,
thing.
the temperature gets so cold up high, and so you gotta have it a little bit deeper, and let it get the crown roots and the brace roots growing.
Okay, good deal. We got to take a break right now, so Gary, hang around here. We'll be right back with That's My Farm.
Okay.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
We started using Multimin about 4 years ago. We started out first in our own cow herd and our own replacement heifer program just to see how it worked, experiment with it. We don't like to put a new product out there with our clients unless we've tried it ourselves or there's a lot of data behind it that we like. We had really good results with it our first year, really are happy with the way things worked. So we decided to start using our clients, and we have been now for 3 years, and I would say 90 to 95% of our clients use Multimin.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
If you don't have a garden, you can still enjoy fresh vegetables by growing them in containers. Let Jackson's help you select the correct plants for your pots. Use Fertilome's Ultimate Potting Mix. Place pots in the sun and feed them weekly with Fertilome's water-soluble fertilizer. Water thoroughly when dry and watch your garden grow.
Jackson's grows over 60 varieties of tomato plants and 75 kinds of pepper plants. We'll help you choose the best variety.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities, big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back, folks. We're with Gary Miller-Shasky, and we're going to continue the conversation about planting depth and planters here. So, Gary, let's. What do we have here?
Well, this is my no-till disc drill. It's a single disc, gauge wheel, firming wheel, closing wheel. It's real easy to set the depth. It has 500 pounds of down force per row, so I can cut through pretty much anything. A lot of maintenance required on this. This one, it was rode hard, put away last fall, and my boy did a lot of planting in some corn stalks, so we've got to replace the pretty much a full way through. We'll put in new gauge wheels and new discs.
New bearings?
Yeah.
New bearings? You
Well,
put new discs or just sharpen
yeah,
them?
no, these will get new discs. As they wear out, they get smaller, and then that really affects your ability to precisely place it at the right depth.
And we talked about the importance of being an inch, inch and a half, something like that.
The
a second
depth,
ago.
yeah.
Well, what about, I want to talk a little bit more about the importance of a sharp.
It goes everything from cutting through whatever you've got to cut through. If it's a little tough, it's harder to cut, and the sharper disc just does it so much. It's like a sharp knife or a butter knife.
Yeah, right. That's pretty important. So you got 10-inch row spacings.
Yep.
So when do you use this one as opposed to the hoe drill we're going to talk about in a second?
Mostly or if you got a high residue situation, that's where this really thrives.
Right, and because it cuts through, it gets it out of the way, and they go through there. Okay, now we're looking at a hoe drill, Gary. So tell us about this hoe drill.
Well, to me, this is my economic drill, if you would. It covers a lot of acres, and it does a very neat job The one thing about a hoe drill in our part of the area, we have a highly erodible soil, and by using a hoe drill, it puts ridges out there, and the ridges actually lift the wind up off the ground, which so then you don't have the erosion. And then the other thing that's good is by creating the ridge, we plant our wheat down in the bottom of the furrow, and it really helps against cold weather hardiness.
And also puts a little moisture
Well,
moisture
yeah, if
goes
we
down
get
there too.
if we get a 1/4 inch rain, then we actually end up with maybe a 1/2 inch of moisture right at the weed or at the wheat, so it can get its brace.
Of course, the big problem is that after you put it in the ground, an inch or two or whatever, and then you have a little bit more rain. Now we're thinking about replanting.
Well, see, that's what we get practice. Then we get to redo it.
That's a positive way to look at it.
Yes.
So what about variety selection with hoe drill versus the single disc?
I prefer the ones with the longer coleoptile, because you normally with the hoe drill you will plant it a little bit deeper, and you want something that if you like your turn rows and stuff, I mean it'll have to come through 3 or 4 inches.
Right, so you need a long coleoptile, and that's the old varieties that's not an issue, but with the shorter semi-dwarfs, coleoptile length, it can be an issue.
Right, and one thing that we haven't mentioned, with the single disc drill, speed is not an issue. You can drive about as fast as you want. With a hoe drill, you have to watch your speed.
Right. Well, we'll be right back with That's My Farm. And Gary, don't go away.
Okay.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back, folks. We're here with Gary Milorshasky on That's My Farm. And we were just talking about drills a second ago and the importance of seed placement and that sort of thing, of your two types of drills. But aside from the drill and getting a good stand, what's the next important piece of equipment that you have?
Well, once it's established, it's got to be the sprayer, because if we want to change anything, or if we want to spray weeds or bugs with a pesticide, or if we have a fungus or wet weather and we have to put a fungicide, if we get rain and we want to add more nutrients because all of a sudden our yield goal has gotten bumped up, because it's a long time from the time you plant the wheat till the time you harvest it, and the variables change, and the only way you can stay in the game is to have a Well, I'm convinced you got to have a sprayer with operators that you can get to your fields when it needs to be done.
Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit about that sprayer back there. Obviously, it's set up GPS, Precision Ag, that sort of equipment. So let's be honest here. Let's be frank. Do you think that GPS stuff really helps out? Pays off?
I'm a firm believer. Normally, let's just say if you have 32 passes in a field, and then with your auto steer, all of a sudden you cut it down to 30 or 31. And so you're not overlapping, you're not skipping.
You're not putting on too much chemical, overlapping, a chance of injury?
There's no reason why, as a farmer, you would want to put more chemical down than you absolutely have to. We have to pay for that. And if you double it,
or environmentally.
And if you do an overspray, then all of a sudden now you've got to deal with it. And that just helps us guide a straight row, precise application, and a quick precise application. You can't drive it as straight as what it can drive itself.
We all think we can drive pretty straight, but no, that's not quite.
No, that's a fantasy, not a reality.
I understand. Well, we got to take a break again, Gary, so stay tuned, folks.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities, big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back. We're here with Gary Miller-Shasky, and I'm going to ask Gary, what's you've been farming for a while. What's changed over the years?
Well, gosh, I don't know where to start. The technology in the tractors, whether it be the how much we rely on hydraulics to run everything, the auto steer, the GPS, all of that. Years ago, you could get by on 160 acres. The income off that would support a family. Today, it's tenfold more, if not more than that. The inputs have just skyrocketed. You look at what a tractor costs now, or I mean, if you're not a farmer, you look at what your vehicle costs now and what it costs to fill it up with gas, as to what it was even 5 years ago.
Well, what about, we talked about the wheat row crop fallow. When you started here, the wheat row crop fallow wasn't the predominant cropping system.
No, it's, every day it seems like we learn something more that's going to make us that much more efficient to stay alive. And with that being said, if we're going to feed the world, that's what we got to do.
Got to be efficient. Thanks, folks, for watching That's My Farm. And Gary, we may just have to come back and visit you during harvest time. And I want you to have a big harvest meal for us.
Sounds good.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.